I believe in gender equality, and I believe that if that's implemented around the world, we'll see a reduction in war, poverty, and hostility between people. Oftentimes, I'm constantly seeing women and people say that men are violent and men are aggressive and they're constantly having wars, and women are superior to men because women are peaceful and they don't fight. Well, here's the thing. Women who push gender roles, in other words, there are women who will complain that men are violent and men are so bossy and controlling and insensitive, and this long list of complaints about men. The same women will push gender roles and they'll say that they want a man who's unemotional, a man who will take charge, a man who's aggressive and power hungry, essentially. So they tend to want the type of man that they complain about. Okay, and they support those men through being with them. I mean, there's no other way to support someone than to offer them sex, right? And so, as long as women promote gender roles and that men should play traditional roles in relationships, we're going to continue to have wars and hostility and fighting and issues with men because women, in their own way, promote that by upholding gender roles. Um, and I've encountered women who, because I'm a man, okay, just because I'm a man, they expect me to have money. And if I do have money, they expect me to have more money than they do. And there's just a lot of these attachments to my gender that um, are not connected to, who I am as a person and does not acknowledge the individual. And it's the same thing for women, when they encounter men that expect them to always wear dresses and to love cooking and other, types of behaviors associated strictly with gender. So I don't believe in gender roles. I don't believe it helps anyone. I don't believe it improves society. I think it's restrictive. I think it doesn't allow people flexibility to make decisions for their own selves. And I think that it promotes a lot of what we have today globally. And only when we believe in equality and fairness and looking at people from a perspective of them as an individual, are we going to see less violence toward women and less violence in general and less hostility? Because if men are not allowed to express themselves in terms of being vulnerable and sad and emotional, and admitting to their flaws, um, without worrying that they're going to be outcast or that they're going to lose their relationship as a result of that, then we're just going to continue to see of the same thing: shootings, violence, a lot of the things that are going on today in this world. And a lot of it is connected to sexual politics and this upholding of gender roles that women complain about publicly, but personally in their relationships, they completely uphold it. Um, and for those feminists who talk about how they want equal pay and they want women to be treated equally in public, well, what do you think is going to happen if two people get in a relationship who believe in traditional gender roles and then teach what do you think they're going to teach their children? And how do you think that's going to affect the economy and the way women and men are treated in that economy, in that world? So you cannot tackle things like equal pay and equal treatment and equal rights without addressing the dating dynamic and how people are discriminatory in dating and sexist in dating and push gender roles while they're dating. You cannot say that you care about equality and justice and then turn around and say that, oh yeah, I uphold old gender roles and I don't care if it's unfair, I want it my way. That's hypocritical, and that's another problem with today's world, is that people don't understand that relationships, family, the values that are passed down from mother and father to child is what will determine the future. Okay, not fancy speeches and virtual signaling and talking about how we should all be equal and women should get equal pay and all this. that's not going to make as much of an impact as, say, a mother and a father teaching their children about treating people equally and not judging them based on whether they're a woman or a man, but based on who they are, okay, as a person. Um, and I think through that point of view and through that lens, um, there's a potential for better quality relationships because there's more flexibility in roles. I do believe that some women are better at doing things than men are. For example, managing money, being ambitious. There are actually women who are extremely ambitious, and I have nothing against that, except when they also, um, except when they're upholding old gender rules while at the same time being a contradiction to that. I mean, how do you end up running a corporation or you're a manager and you're a woman who's like really far up, you own your own business and everything, and then you talk about how you want a man who's traditional when you yourself are not. It makes no sense. So so I'm all for gender equality. I think that's the next step. It's just like how it was with racism. Racism still exists, but it's something to look that's frowned down upon, and it's not something that's accepted as being normal or okay or justified. And I think that the next thing we have to remove from society and get this right is gender equality. We need to push for equality. We need to fight for equality. And we need to remove these old, outdated ways of thinking because this is the modern world. We're in a different world now where we don't have to, men don't have to be hunters and women don't have to be stuck at home, with the children all the time. Okay. And we have to embrace that new world and embrace modern thinking and go with that because I think that's really what's going to change and create a peaceful world moving forward. It's not going to fix everything, but it will make the world better. And if you care about making the world better, then you need to join me in this fight for gender equality. You need to teach your children this and stand up to anybody that tries to push inequality between the sexes. And that's all I have to say for now. Thank you.